I'm Harrison Graham, and this is Chicago Bears Now. And on today's show, we got some updated Bears depth charts from yours truly after 2024 NFL free agency. Obviously, some moves could still take place, but the big ones are done. The Bears have made 3 trades, so things are going to look a little bit different. We're going to go position group by position group momentarily. But first, help a brother out. Share this video on Twitter, X, whatever you're calling it. I know on the YouTube app on your phone or tablet now, it says X now. So you click the share button, you select the X icon, tag me in the tweet at HGramNFL for a retweet before you click post, and then boom, I'll retweet you guys, and it helps spread the word of this video and this channel. So help me out. Hit that follow button on Twitter while you're at it. I would greatly, greatly appreciate it. Okay, let's go quarterback here. Pretty simple, right? QB1's not here yet. It's going to be likely Caleb Williams, but it'll be a draft pick regardless. Tyson Bagent's your 2. Brett Rypien's your Nate Peterman replacement. I still am open to the idea of a Ryan Tannehill type if they want to bring in a quality veteran in the room. I don't really view Brett Rypien as that. It's fine. You hope he never plays. He's fine in the QB room. But, yeah, I think it's going to be Caleb Williams. Could it be Drake May or Jaden Daniels, I suppose. But obviously the Bears traded Justin Fields to the I almost said the Cleveland Browns, the Pittsburgh Steelers. And so now the obvious decision is, who are you going to replace him with? And it looks like that's going to be Caleb Williams. He's minus 3,000 odds to go to Chicago at this point in time based on recent betting odds. Pro Day came and went. All went well there. It sounds like the Bears have had dinner with them. Could something change? Sure. If a major red flag pops up, that it could be someone else. But certainly seems like Caleb's going to be your QB1 moving forward. All right, let's go to running back. Obviously, the Bears' big addition on day one of free agency, really kicked off free agency for the league, was DeAndre Swift on a 3-year, $24.5 million contract. He slides in as your starter. At least that's the way I see it. Khalil Herbert back into his natural RB2 role, which is what he was behind David Montgomery. And then Roschon Johnson, your 3, short yardage, developing guy that you're hoping can at least become an RB2 in the future because it is Herbert's last season of his rookie deal. But I'm excited about Swift. He had his best year of his career as a runner. He's a proven receiving back in this league as well. He gives you some juice and some explosiveness. And especially with the rookie quarterback, it's nice to have an outlet out of the backfield. And I thought last year the Bears didn't really have that at the running back position. Roschon came on late in that regard. I think he's got some pass catching upside. It's never been a big strength of Khalil's. He can catch like the basic of basic checkdowns and screens, but he's not running routes out of the backfield. Swift can do that. He can do some of that for you. I'm not saying he's Tariq Cohen, but never had less than 39 catches in a year, so I think his pass catching ability will be big for this offense. All right, wide receiver. The big move of all, adding Keenan Allen, who works primarily out of the slot. Him and DJ Moore, your 1-2 punch after Moore had a monster year last year. Still think you're going to add another receiver to this room, probably in the draft, but still have some hopes for Tyler Scott. We'll see how Shane Waldron views Velus Jones Jr. at this point in time. They brought Dante Pettis back. That's certainly interesting. But in 2023, you had 2 of the top 10 receivers in terms of receiving productivity with DJ Moore and Keenan Allen combining for over 2,600 yards and 15 touchdowns. It really is crazy to think about. Now they're on the same team. Obviously, I doubt both guys are in the 1,300 receiving yard range, but they should combine for over 2,000 in the same offense, which is awesome to think about. I do, like I said, expect the Bears to draft a receiver. If nothing else, competition for Tyler Scott, Velus Jones, etc. But ideally, you get a guy that can plug in and be your number 3, unless Scott does take that big leap, which would be great because, you know, I have hopes for him still. I had high hopes and loved the pick last year. Got him in the 4th round. Dane Brugler and several other draft analysts had him as a 2nd-round pick. He fell to the 4th, so maybe in this offense and in year 2, he takes a big leap in Chicago. Who is going to be the leading receiver in 2024? I don't think anyone's taking a big enough leap to top one of these guys. If you think it's DJ Moore type DJ, think it's Keenan Allen type KA. Who do you think leads the team in receiving in 2024? Maybe it's Cole Kmet or Gerald Everett. I doubt it, but both those guys are big-time weapons too. You get Kmet, a reliable number 2 receiving tight end. They tried to make it work with Robert Tonyan last year. That did not. Kmet is a player that has just grown every single year, had his best year of his career last year, not only as a receiver, but as a blocker as well. Gerald Everett, a consistent high-end number 2, can be your 1 in a pinch as well if there's an injury. basically averages 450 yards and 3 touchdowns over his last 5 seasons, not just his last 4. Really love that move by Ryan Poles. And I still think bringing back Mercedes Lewis could be something that happens at some point. Now, at this point in his career, he's going to be 40 next year. He didn't sign until August last year, and he was completely ready to go by week 1. He probably won't sign somewhere and do OTAs and all that stuff. He knows how to take care of his body. He doesn't need all that. Sign some point around training camp, even during training camp. I'd like it to be back here, but maybe he goes elsewhere. Maybe he joins Aaron Rodgers in New York or follows Luke Getsy to Vegas. Who knows? But if you can get him, or at least maybe you draft a tight end to be that number 3 guy, that would be great, because I don't view Stephen Carlson as that. I think you're going to have to find someone else to be that reliable blocking number 3 tight end. Lewis would be awesome. If it's someone else, it's someone else. That is perfectly fine as well for the Chicago Bears. All right, want to double down, remind you guys, help us out, share the video, reminding you guys of the steps. If you screenshot this, you will not forget how to do it. Simple, 4 steps. Click the share button, click the X icon, tag me in the tweet for a retweet, and then click post. Boom, I'll retweet you guys. Give me a follow while you're at it. I would greatly appreciate it. Okay, let's go to the offensive line now. For now, this is what it is. A lot of talk. Do you upgrade from Braxton Jones? Do you bring in another high-level guard for competition? Maybe Ryan Bates is that. I still have him at center with Coleman Shelton, because that could end up being a competition. But either way, I think you're going to be upgraded at center, which is good. Feel really good about Darnell Wright entering year 2. Tevin Jenkins, when healthy, is very good. Still have hopes for Nate Davis if he can stay healthy this year. To be at least a quality starting guard. Last year was kind of all over the place for him, had the family stuff, got injured, inconsistent play, all that. But hopefully a smoother offseason is good for him. Again, the one big question is this: will the Bears look to upgrade from Braxton Jones at left tackle? There are guys in this draft that Chicago could look to do that with. Joe Alt, I think, is a clear upgrade. Fuaga is an interesting case. He's been pretty much just a right tackle at Oregon State. His tape was very good this year. He's kind of a Darnell Wright 2.0. Could you move him or right to left tackle? Do you want to do that? Olu Fashanu is a good left tackle. Fountainu can play left tackle or guard. Latham can play guard or tackle. I want to make it clear. I am content with Braxton Jones. But Ryan Poles has an offensive line background. It would not shock me if he looked to upgrade at that left tackle position, or at least bring in competition. Let's go to the defense now. The defensive line depth chart. This is still the group that, if one group's going to change the most after the draft, it's probably this one, right? I could definitely see them going edge at 9. You could add another defensive tackle to this group as well. Obviously, you got Montez Sweat, who's kind of your workhorse, but I think you need at least one edge and probably a defensive tackle too. Now, maybe if you draft an edge and maybe sign a vet or something like that, DeMarcus Walker just works more on the inside. That could certainly happen. But Dallas Turner, Jared Verse, Leatu Latu, 3 guys I expect the Bears to be interested in. Defensive tackle, Byron Murphy could be in that range at number 9. Jerzon Newton, who is going by Johnny now, could be an option in a trade down. Devondre Sweat could be an option, although I think if they're going to go defensive tackle in the draft, it would be more of a 3-tech, which would be the mold of Murphy or Newton. Matt Eberflus has talked about engine of this defense, 3-tech. Is Javon Dexter ready for that? Or do they want to bring someone else in here that can at least compete with them? So that's an option. Edge is more than an option. It's a necessity. So keep an eye on that as we get closer to April. What is the bigger need in your opinion? I do think it's edge, but I think defensive tackle still could be a need if they're unsure about Dexter. Type edge or DT for defensive tackle. Bolstering that defensive line a little bit more is definitely something that the Bears should do. Linebacker, pretty similar to last year, right? You got your top 2, TJ Edwards, Tremaine Edmonds. Edmonds was a little up and down last year, but I thought he finished strong. Edwards is very steady. Jack Sanborn's a great number 3. They bring in Eamon O to be kind of your special teams ace and Dylan Cole replacement. Noah Sewell, we'll see what he has in store for year 2. You still have Micah Baskerville, who was on the practice squad last year. So virtually the same. I don't expect major changes there. Maybe Noah Sewell pushes Sanborn this year. Who knows? But you're going to be sitting in nickel most of the time anyway, which means it's going to be Tremaine Edmonds and TJ Edwards. Cornerback, speaking of nickel, kind of similar here too, right? I mean, this was arguably your biggest position group of strength last year. Could be again this year. You lock up Jalen Johnson, which was important to that 4-year extension. He was tremendous last year, PFF's highest graded corner. Got that 4-year, $76 million deal. Great deal for the Bears and for Johnson. What does he have for an encore? That was obviously huge to bring him back into the fold. Tyreek Stevenson, I might be as excited for him as any player on this roster, as I thought the second half of the year he was the best rookie corner in football. Kyler Gordon has emerged as one of the best nickels in the league. You've got good depth with Terrell Smith, Jalen Jones, Josh Blackwell, and Greg Stroman. I don't know if you add a single player to this group, if I'm being completely honest. Subscribe to the channel. We got you covered. Segments like this, news, rumors, draft, free agency, anything surrounding this team, we're making videos about it. And guess what? It's free. We don't charge you a dime. Hit the subscribe button. Turn on notifications. Don't miss out here on Chicago Bears Now. Go to safety now. Obviously, you go from Eddie Jackson to Kevin Byard. You save money. You upgrade. That was nice. Jaquan Brisker, year 3. He could be in line for a huge year. Had a good year last year. Bring in Jonathan Owens to be an upgrade over Elijah Hicks as your third safety. I would expect Hicks and Quindell Johnson to kind of compete for that safety 4 spot. Who's going to have more value on special teams? That's something to watch out for. Tarvarius Moore, a veteran, he could be in the mix as well. I put Adrian Colbert on the corner depth chart, but he's kind of a nickel safety hybrid, so he'll be competing also. But good depth in the secondary. The Byard move was obviously a big one. He had a slightly down year last year, especially once he got to Philadelphia, but that defense was kind of just a mess once they went to Matt Patricia. I think his all-pro days are over, but he could still be a productive player, and we've talked about this plenty of times. He's very durable, has never missed a game in his career, going to be a leader of that secondary, and I think this secondary as a whole should be really good, potentially great. I think the secondary is the strongest position group on this football team right now, so I feel good about that. That's why if you can add another solid, even just solid pass rusher, I mean, who knows how many picks this team could get. We really saw the impact Montez Sweat had late last year and how many turnovers that created. All right, special teams here. They extended Cairo Santos late last season. That was well-deserved. Trenton Gill, good rookie year. Didn't have a great year last year. Corliss Waitman's on the roster right now. Is there going to be a competition there? Maybe they bring in a UDFA. We'll see. That's something to watch. Patrick Scales is back as the long snapper. For now, Velus Jones, I think, is your lead kick returner. I guess Tyler Scott's your punt returner. Trent Taylor's not going to be back, I don't think. So, maybe the receiver they draft handles punts. Maybe it is Scott. Maybe they give Velus another opportunity. It hasn't worked the first 2 years, but maybe year 3 is the year. Who knows? But certainly punt returner is something to watch. That is something that they have not had stability at in a while. Even with Trent Taylor last year, he caught the ball for the most part, but didn't give you much juice. So I would certainly like to find someone who can do that. Maybe Tyler Scott emerges as that guy. Grade the Bears roster right now. You go through the whole roster and you feel pretty good, right? A, B, C, D, or F. That defensive line needs some work. You could add a little on offensive line, another receiver. But as a whole, I mean, I'm going to go solid B. Like, this is a playoff roster to me if the quarterback you bring in isn't just a disaster. Like, if you get 20th best quarterback play in the NFL, 17th, certainly top 15 if your rookie does that. I think it's a playoff team. NFC North isn't going to be easy, but the schedule as a whole is manageable. I think this is a solid B roster, and after the draft, could be a B+. Like, I think this is a playoff team if you get adequate enough quarterback play. And by the way, I said that if Justin Fields is back, I thought this would be a playoff team this year. So whoever's back there, as long as they're not a disaster and Shane Waldron isn't a disaster, I expect the defense to be top 10, if not top 5. There's no reason why this team isn't a playoff team in 2024. All right, there you have it, our roster breakdown after the first major wave of free agency. We'll see if new moves come in. We'll do this video again probably after the draft, kind of update things, see how it sits then. But I think this was a good time to kind of take a step back, analyze the roster right now, and kind of see where things sit. If you want more Bears videos, hit that subscribe button.